Hello and welcome back to the video Darkroom. This time we're going to talk all about callouts or callout labels. These are labels that you can attach to a feature of something that is in your video, and it will move along with that object as if it was attached to it. We're going to show how to attach those in the video using After Effects. I'm going to tell you all about what callout labels are, where to find them. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to make them, but in this video, we're going to show how to put the callout labels into your video and attach them to features so that they move along with those objects in the video. So let's get started. Callouts are these labels that stick to features of your product as it moves around on the screen, and you can use them to explain things, to describe things. They're really incredibly useful for anything that moves. Let me give you a couple of other examples. Here we have some flowers, and this is a demo that identifies the different flowers that you can see on the screen as the bouquet rotates. And here's an example of a product video. Just scroll back to the beginning of this one and play it. So you see with callouts, you can attach them to anything. Attach them to, for example, the end of this second hand or the date function, whatever it happens to be in your video or whatever kind of video you're producing. So last week I showed how to get this perfect smooth motion, and if you want to catch that video, I will link it above. I did this with track motion in After Effects, and again it's track motion that we're going to use to attach the callout labels to the product. To get the callout labels that you want to attach, there are two options. You can either make your own, as I've done in this case. These are ones that I've made, and in the next video I'm going to show you how you can make them as well and attach them to your product video. Or alternatively, many of the stock sites that provide stock video and sound and so on also provide graphics. And here, for example, in Envato Elements, there is a stock package that includes callout labels. So there you see a whole variety of them. If you subscribe to some of these services, you can simply download that and you can import it into your project and use those callout labels. So let's get into how you attach the callout labels, and then in the next video we'll look at how to make the callout labels if you want to make your own. I'm in Premiere Pro and I have a sequence here that we can use. This is the camera rotation. It doesn't have the callout labels on it. I'm going to show you how to put those on. Again, we have to edit this in After Effects, so we will replace with an After Effects composition, and you need to give it a name. I'll just call it demo in this case, and we now have the video in After Effects as it was in Premiere. So what I would need to do is to import the callout labels, the ones that I've previously made, or alternatively the ones that you've downloaded from a stock site. In After Effects, we go to File, we go to Import and Import File. And callout is the file that I've previously made the labels in, so we just import that. And here we have a number of callout labels that I have previously made just as soon as it finishes importing them. I have ones that are plain, and I have ones that where the text is in a little box. You can make them whatever way you wish. And I have them so that the little arrow points left and down, or left and up, or right and down, right and up. We want to attach the appropriate one to the video as it moves. So in this case, let's do the shutter button, and what I want to do is have a callout label that points to the right and up. So we'll do the plain one, and I'll take that and just drag it onto the screen. We're at the beginning, it hasn't yet animated in, so there you can see it goes right and up. Now it's not in the right place, but we're going to deal with that later. What we need to do is we need to track the shutter button, and I'm going to do that in the tracker panel. If you don't see the tracker panel in your workspace, then simply go to Window and make sure that tracker is ticked and it will appear over here. I need to select the clip that we're going to track here, and I'm going to track motion, and we get a little tracker point that we can move around here. So if you hover over it, at some point you're going to get these little cross arrows, and you can move it to the point where you want it to be over the shutter button. I'm just going to enlarge this a little bit so that I can get this set correctly. So we just drop it over the shutter button. I'm going to just slightly increase the area that we're looking for here and slightly increase the target so that we cover the whole of the button. And then I'm simply going to track forward. Hopefully it will track that the whole way through the video. Now, I actually didn't start at the very beginning of the clip, so we're going to have to go back to the point at which we started and then track back the way towards the beginning. After Effects doesn't mind whether you're tracking forwards or backwards, so we'll just go back to the point that we started and just track that right back to the beginning of the clip. So now we've tracked it the whole way, and in order to get something to attach the labels to, we need to add a null object. So just right clicking here and typing new null object, and a null object is created. It's called null1. I'm just going to change the name of it to shutter. So here in the tracker panel, again, we want to edit the target, and I want to change it to shutter and say OK, and then apply. We want to apply both dimensions, and now we have a null object attached to the shutter button. You can see as the camera moves, the null object moves with it. Let's go back to the callout, and we have that here, so we can kind of move that around as we need it. Now, one thing that you need to be very careful about is that you need to have the anchor point at the point where you want to attach it to the null object. So the null object is attached right to the center of that shutter button. So I want to take the anchor point and use this little pan behind tool and take the anchor point from where it currently is and move it to the location of the pointer. I'm then just going to go back to the normal pointer, move that up to exactly where we want it to be at the corner of the null object. We need the callout to take its position from the null object. So in order to do that, I'm just going to make sure that position is available in both of these, and I'm going to use this little curly icon here, which is called a pick whip, and we're going to drag the callout position, which is down here, and we're going to drop that on to position on the null object, and that means that the callout inherits its position from the null object. And you can now see that as we move along, that label fits perfectly or stays perfectly in position. Of course, one further thing that we would want to do is to open up the callout and edit the text that's in it. So do that, just take the text tool and select all of that and call it shutter. And I'll take the text on the bottom. So we've changed that, and we can now just go back to the text that we had. We maybe should have made it a little bit larger, but effectively for this demo, it works okay. So that's how you do it. You can track anything that you want to on the product or whatever video that you're using. It could be, for example, identifying the runners or the cars in a race, whatever you need it to do. I've demonstrated one, and you would just simply repeat exactly the same process, create a new null object, bring in a new callout, and track it in the way that we did before. So that's all that we need to do, and we would just simply save that, and we would go back to Premiere Pro. Having gone back to Premiere Pro, you can see that it is there with the shutter attached. when you're finished doing all of your edits to the video and added all the callouts, you would probably then right click on the clip and you would render and replace, so that you don't need to use After Effects every time in order to display the product or in order to produce the product video. So I hope you find that interesting and easy to do, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to make the callouts if that's what you want to do, as opposed to downloading them from a stock site that you may have a subscription to. So thank you for watching the video Darkroom, and I hope to see you in the next one.